quarters of a percentage point following a similarly aggressive rate hike in June, even as Jerome Powell acknowledged that the Federal Reserve sees previous hikes as already weighing on housing, business investment, and consumer demand. Speaking at a news conference, Powell said he believes the economy is not in a recession, but the paths to avoiding one are narrower than just a few months ago. He added that, with inflation remaining at 40-year highs and June prices coming in especially hot, Powell emphasized that controlling inflation is the Fed's chief priority, even if it brings down a slowdown in the job market for now. Inflation has plagued policymakers for months, becoming the economy's biggest problem and weighing on families nationwide, but especially the most vulnerable lower-income families. Higher prices for milk, gas, and clothing have soured people's sense of how the economy is working for them, dampening consumer sentiment and influencing families to change their own spending behavior. Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer have confirmed a new bill will be signed into law. Lawmakers have finally reached an agreement on the new social spending plan. Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin have announced that there's going to be a deal on an energy and healthcare bill. This represents a breakthrough after more than a year of negotiations that have collapsed time again, but it will face some furious GOP opposition. The deal is a major reversal for Manchin, and the health and climate bill stands a serious chance of becoming law as soon as August, although this is only if Democrats can pass the bill. In the House of Representatives, it also needs approval from the Senate parliamentarian to allow it to be approved, along party lines in the budget process. While Manchin scuttled President Biden's Build Back Better bill, the final deal includes a number of provisions the moderate from West Virginia had formerly criticized. This is representing a significant reversal from earlier this month. This includes provisions addressing the climate crisis. The agreement contains a number of Democrats' goals, while many details have not been disclosed. The measure would invest $370 billion into energy and climate change programs, with the goal of reducing carbon emissions by 40% by 2030. According to a one-page fact sheet, for one time, Medicare would be empowered to negotiate the prices of certain medications, and it would cap out of-pocket costs at $2,000 for those enrolled in Medicare prescription plans. It would also extend the expiring enhanced subsidies for Affordable Care Act coverage for 3 years. The announcement comes at a crucial time for Congress, as many Democrats will soon face a campaign re-election. The news came several hours after the Senate passed a separate bill to invest $50 billion in U.S. manufacturing semiconductors.
Since the Democrats took over the White House, House, and the Senate, there's been a war on seniors in Florida. If you think about a typical senior in Florida, they're either on fixed income or they're getting ready to retire. So in the last year and a half, what's happened? Gas prices have skyrocketed, food prices have skyrocketed, rents up, all of these things caused by the Democrats. So clearly they don't care about seniors in Florida. Now the latest bill is going to cut Medicare. And these Democrats say, oh, they would never do that. Let me just read you a quote by Joe Biden. When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. This is Joe Biden. This is what they're doing. I mean, they're actually doing what he said they would do. They're actually cutting $280 billion out of the Medicare budget and not putting it back in to try to.
The Kimberly Greenberger downgrade of Levi's is inventory loose. Well, there's two that don't. Neither Fiskars nor Lucid have any inventory because they're having trouble making it.
But you mean everywhere but cars.
Everywhere but cars and semiconductors for cars is just, the system's no good. And, look, we don't know really what's going on at Walmart. But you know what? They don't know what's really going on at Walmart. So let's say we called Bentonville. You get one of those weird sounds. That's one like you dial the wrong number.
Jim's mentioning this report that Walmart may be considering laying off corporate employees about a week after slashing their outlook. And by the way, that brings us to Challenger, Jim. Second month of year-on-year increases in layoffs, 36%.
Look, it's setting up. I mean, look, the Fed wants to have people spend less money. They don't know what else to do. I mean, they're certainly winning lately in gasoline. I mean, oil can't hold any level. I mean, oil is up, and oil is a great. It's a great moment for those who are short oil. There was an amazing article in the Wall Street Journal. The grains are all going down. The consumer has less money. July is setting up to have been a weaker moment for travel. We all were excited about the idea that, hey, they're not buying goods anymore. They're traveling. Well, now maybe they're going out, Beer consumption not that strong. Well, that's what you get that when you go out. So, I mean, Taco Bell had a good number.
Yeah, although Shaq saying low-end consumer definitely feeling it. We're going to talk about
Low-end
pizza.
consumer wants to go home. Remember when you had mac and cheese?
Kraft.
Yeah, when you were at home and you had mac and cheese, and you had a feeling that your dad hadn't done that well. Well, that's a lot of people's dads aren't doing that well because it's the Fed has made it so that we're all scared. I mean, you have all those guys come on yesterday. What is the sum total of all their fears? Wow. All right, so we're going to get hit again. So let's save. But that's what they want because they need prices to come down. You need plastic to come down, which is starting to come down. You need box to come down, which is rolling over. You need high-end semis to come down. That has not happened yet.
Well, you mentioned travel, and booking is going to open down about 3. They did talk about some deceleration in room nights.
There it is.
May was great. May was
Right.
20 plus, and then June reverted to the 14
Well,
area.
you know, people keep going back to this interview I had with Chesky for Airbnb. And they keep coming up with what I think is a wrong conclusion about the
More discretionary purchases like clothing as it watches its consumers, at least, shift spending patterns due to high levels of inflation. Now, many retailers have yet to report their full results this quarter. When they do, we'll get more information about the state of retail jobs, corporate and store, along with tomorrow's jobs report, of course. Now, the last government jobs report showed the entire retail sector gained 15,000 jobs in June, and May jobs were revised upward. General merchandise store jobs, so this is where Walmart would fit, those did fall by 7,000. Again, those are store jobs, and the story today is about the corporate layoffs. Amazon's quarterly results, those revealed that its headcount did fall by 99,000 to 1.52 million global employees. And Amazon CFO Brian Olsavsky did cite attrition for the reduction there in that number, but didn't really give further details. Seema?
Actually, Court, I got a question. You know, we got a wave of downgrades today from Levi to Under Armour, Cowan on Kohl's, and they're all talking about execution on the one hand, but then bloated inventories on the other. Do we get a clearer picture of that soon with those upcoming results and a look at back to school?
I sure hope that we do, Carl, and that's a really good point. Kontoor Brands also put out their results today. Inventories, again, sort of that rebalance cited in their results is something that they're really working through. You know, of course, that Levi does sell direct to consumer at its own stores and websites, but also sells through channels like Walmart and Target. And so I think when we get those full results, we'll get a clear understanding of what's going on there. Scott's Miracle-Gro actually had a very interesting note in its earnings report earlier this week where it said, look, our demand was pretty good. The problem was the retailers that we sell to, they didn't want to take all of our inventory, so we actually came up shorter than we think we could have. And so I thought that was a sort of very interesting insight into how the retailers are just being so careful with inventory because of all the dislocations that are going around with what happened from the supply chain backup and congestion that, frankly, we're still working through as consumers start to change their buying habits.